Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to Wrestle Rock with Rick Connor.
What the F was that entire freaking promo about?
Mark Callbacher.
She's like the James Ellsworth of women.
And Corey Castle.
I look like Paul London and Brian Kendrick mixed.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What was that? That fits, dude.
Paul London and Brian Kendrick. I forget what that was. That was, I forget who you were talking about, Corey. You remember?
I don't know. No, I forget completely. I forget completely.
Came across that, and I'm like, that's a perfect line. That fits very well. And then we got Mark's talking about Lana being Ellsworth of wrestling, and I'm screaming about promos like I always do.
That was probably one of the best rants I went on in a while, was that whole Lana just messing up the Rusev needs to stay 90 feet away from me.
I love the Rick doing the what the frick was that whole promo about? It was about it was about the Cody Rhodes promo, right?
No. Oh, I should have went back and found that.
John Cena one. There was the John Cena promo where it's like, give WrestleMania to somebody else.
I'm not going to do WrestleMania this year until I'm up the ramp 5 minutes later. Okay, I'll do WrestleMania this year.
Oh, dude, I forgot about his Cody rant when he went off about Cody not making about his dad, but made about his dad. Oh, my God, that was great.
I forgot about that rant, too. I got to go back and see if I can find that.
Dad, I don't think I'm going to do Squirrel Style anymore.
Yeah, that's nice. How's everybody feeling this week, man? Is everybody healthy?
Yeah, man, so far.
All right, everybody's good? Because WWE is not good. There's a lot of people checking out.
I was just listening to Wrestling Observer, just catching up on some stuff, and people are dropping like flies over there, and they're trying to hide it like it's not really. They don't have an issue over there,
right?
But I know Daniel Bryan and Reigns just went home because they're both immunocompromised. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know who Daniel Bryan was. Did he have cancer or something, or is he just?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's part of his because it was just a neck thing with him, right? With the I think
it's because he's just got two babies at home. Like that's probably what it is.
That makes more sense to me. Like I'm dealing with that now. My lady friend, she can't hang out with me because her sister just had a baby, right. And they want her to help with the baby. So she hasn't been near me in over 3 weeks now.
So immunocompromised versus like just not, especially wanting to be cautious considering you've got children.
Yeah,
that are like, weak immune systems.
But we lost Ray, supposedly Dana Brooke, supposedly The Miz now. But I think The Miz isn't sick either. I think he's another one because he has a young child at home too.
Yeah.
Right. So dude, did anybody see me? I've been starting hoping it picked up and nobody did because I have no followers. I put cancel WrestleMania because it's such a joke. This is just an absolute joke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the smart money would say to do, but at the same time, like, when do you postpone it till? Like, we don't know when this whole thing is going to end. You could say it's like, oh, we'll do it in June, but then what if this thing is still going on in June? And then you have a problem of, how do you continue these storylines until that late? How you just have, Drew McIntyre just keeps on kicking people. Like, what happened?
I think you do more like what NXT was doing. Instead of doing a takeover, they're going to do a couple of those matches on NXT and then end it, and then just start up new storylines for Mania. When Mania is ready to roll around, just start up new. I'll still watch AJ versus Undertaker, even though it's not a Mania match. You can find something 6 months from now, or whatever it is to do Mania. Skip SummerSlam and go right into that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have the giant roster of WWE. So if you lose a couple people here and there, if they're staying at home because they don't want to get sick, or maybe they're like Roman Reigns is, what do they call it? Immunocompromised? Comparable? What is it called?
Immunocompromised. Usually means anybody's been through chemo. Anybody's had like other issues, like a girlfriend of mine, like you have like certain counts, like you're like a 1 through 10 with your white blood cell counts. And I heard like, I can't remember, but it's like anything under 5, if you have a number 5 is bad. And she's a 3. She's a 3, so that's considered a medium because she only has 3,000 white blood cells for whatever count it is.
I was not laughing at people's blood counts. I was laughing at my friend was walking in the other room and he dropped something and had nothing to do with the blood cells at all.
Just laughing at people with cancer.
Yeah. Great time to start laughing.
Leukemia. That's hysterical. But
they have a big enough. They have a big enough roster that they can just replace people. Let's come up with new matches and stuff like that. I mean, it's a week away, so there's not going to be any kind of build up or story or anything like that. But if they're right now they're talking about 16 matches. If they have to drop that down to like 12, who cares?
But I'm saying 16 matches and only 3 of them anybody care about.
And they go, hey, we're going to make it a 2-day thing. We could make it a 2-match thing, and that's it. Like, it doesn't have to be
instead of doing Mania, they could do a special event, have those 3 main matches they've been talking about because they still seem like they're on the schedule. Well, no, Reigns ain't wrestling. Yeah. Now it's Braun Strowman.
I'm here.
He's Braun Strowman versus Brock.
Taking place, yeah.
So I guess Brock's keeping the belt.
So is then John Cena not in it then?
Goldberg, you mean?
Goldberg, yeah. Goldberg. I guess Goldberg's keeping the belt now?
I guess, unless they're putting it on Strowman.
That would suck.
They've never done. I don't see why they would start now. They've never pulled the trigger with Strowman ever, so who knows? Corey, you were asking about Cena?
Yeah, well, he's wrestling. They're doing like a Funhouse, Firefly Funhouse. What the heck is that?
I'm assuming it's something like they did with the Orton and Wyatt thing, where Orton just kind of showed up at a cabin in the woods somewhere, and there was doll heads hanging from the ceiling and stuff like that. If you remember
that seems kind of dumb.
It's what,
but I mean, an empty arena you're not gonna get much worse than that. So
it's I don't know. It's just. Like I said, man, like you have 16 matches. No one cares about 13, 14 of them or 12 or 13 of them. They could have spent this time building up all the undercard matches and then just put all the big matches in the background. And then when they could actually do WrestleMania, you could have a 16-match card where you're actually invested in maybe 10 of the matches. You at least have some kind of investment in that. Dude, everything's just thrown together. I don't care about watching this at all next weekend.
It's less storyline for me now. Like usually WrestleMania is okay. I want to see what happens with these people, what happens with that, who's going to win this title or whatever. Now it's just like, yeah, I guess that would be a pretty cool match. Like most of these matches that you were talking about, like can happen on Raw or SmackDown.
Right. They're very like they're not. They're just these whelming matches, these very nominal matches.
Underwhelming.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
The one of the ones that cracks me up is they never really built up the Otis and Ziggler storyline to a WrestleMania level match. And is that happening at Mania? Are they wrestling or? Yeah,
they announced that on SmackDown.
Yeah, I saw a big article about it yesterday.
And what a terrible storyline. It was supposed to be like he got screwed and Ziggler like stole the girl from him. And now it just looks like Ziggler won the girl over and now Otis just looks like a psychopath.
Well, I don't know because he does look like a psychopath, definitely. Yeah. But I mean, it's the storyline's not over yet. Like they're having this match. I don't think it's just going to be a match. I think that there's going to be still like revelations and stuff like that. Like I think that they're going to continue the storyline in the match. That's what I think. That's what I would do. But who knows? Like WWE is really scrambling, and like their stories weren't that good to begin with, so they're slapping stuff together at the last minute now, and it's bad.
Their whole thing is there's no need to scramble. We all know what's going on. We all know what's happening in the world. We all know that it may not happen for a while. Right. This need to put these guys out there and risk their health for us. None of us want them to get sick. None of us want them to get hurt.
Well, look, let's also think the whole point of it being airborne, right? And these people are getting in a very like close quarters contact with each other, while being blown up and sucking in all that air. it's fine to just not have it. I think everyone.
Becky Lynch came out and was talking about how it is at the Performance Center and how sanitary, I guess, they're being. Like, they're taking temperatures when you first walk in, and there's doctors there. They're scanning everybody. They're trying to play it as safe as possible, and they're saying anybody that doesn't feel comfortable to do it can go home, and there's going to be no repercussions or anything like that. So I mean,
like that's never happened before with Saudi Arabia and everything else.
Yeah,
hey, there's going to be no repercussions, but you're going to lose for the next 6 months after this. Come on, man.
You were saying I think last week talking about how it's like voluntarily staying or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, so people aren't getting paid to do it. It feels more indie than ever. No, but I get it. They're getting paid. I'm just about.
It's just, I don't know, man.
How indie it feels.
I mean,
it doesn't feel like WrestleMania.
It doesn't because, I mean, like the whole no crowd thing, and people are dropping off left and right. Rey Mysterio's quarantined, and Dana Brooke and all these other people, they're changing matches around at the last minute. So it's rough, and you never know. Maybe something will happen this week where they'll just go, okay, you got us. We're gonna hold off for a while on this because this doesn't make it sense. And I agree, it doesn't make sense, but it's WrestleMania. It's like, how do you just be like, okay, hold off. We'll wait. The crowd, there's no crowd, so we're gonna wait. It does take a lot away from it, though. Like I was really noticing it this week. Like I was focusing on all the matches, like in WWE and in AEW. NXT was back with a full show, and it was just like, man, like what was that Tyler Breeze match? Like that really could have benefited from a crowd, but it was just dead with nothing.
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I can watch the segments when they talk.
Yeah,
I don't need a crowd reaction. With like they did the whole thing with Keith Lee and Damian Priest and Dijakovic. I made fun of the guy so much now I can't say his name.
Coca-Cola.
But they did that segment and that was fine. Watching that, I was like, okay, I can be interested in this. That's what I'm saying. They can just build storylines. Not only that, like WWE has like the greatest like group of guys can put a video package together I've ever seen in my life. Why don't they just do docu-series and do cool stuff on like
they should make WrestleMania like a film this year instead of making it an event. Make a film of WrestleMania.
I'm just saying, like, they have to fill in those 5 hours. They could do a docu-series, like each like
the 24 series.
Yes, stuff like that.
That'd be great. Yeah,
the ruthless aggression thing they're doing on the network right now is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's very good. I think that they should call this year's WrestleMania.
I don't know, man. This is bad.
It's not so good.
We'll find out when it happens. I'm not going to judge it before I see it. I'm trying to be good with that this year. I know I got a lot of that last year with AEW starting, and I was a little bit of a bitch back then. But I'm going to try and not judge it until it actually happens. And once it happens, I'll rip it apart.
I think the highlights this week was this, if you want to call it a highlight, was the second half of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
And the Brody Lee conversation with Chris Jericho were probably the two highlights of the week.
There was a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I missed the Talk is Jericho. I heard the one with Matt Hardy. I didn't get to hear the Brody Lee one yet.
It's more like they've been doing is just getting into Vince McMahon and the entire creativity process and how these guys never get, for some reason, Brody Lee talked about all Vince McMahon wanted to do was a Southern drawl. And the guys from Rochester or something like that, he's like from upstate New York. And they want him to do a Southern drawl and he can't. And then they said the next week he went to wrestle and on the paperwork it says Brody, it says, whatever, Luke Harper talks in Southern draw on the paperwork. After they discovered he couldn't do it, they still put it in the next week. And it's just shown that, like, I don't know where, but WWE got so big and they have so many people working there, just stuff is getting, like, falling through the cracks on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And these wrestlers are just getting laid by the wayside.
Mark, did you see the John Mulaney stand-up special where he talks about, like, Mick Jagger kind of being an asshole?
Nah.
He's like, how do how do you expect, like, you've been this famous for this long and this powerful, you just go, Diet Coke now! And a Diet Coke just appears in your hand. You don't have to talk like everybody else and be like, can I please have a Diet Coke, please? Like, just say it and there it goes. Well, it's probably the same thing with Vince McMahon.
Well, they were saying that on the conversation. Jericho explained, you have to find out if Vince McMahon ate for the day before you can go in there and pitch a freaking, like, an angle with him. He might get angry at you because he hasn't eaten yet.
Right.
Or he might forget, or he might be like, it's like, what? Like,
you just walk in with a half open, like, protein bar, and you're like, hey, here you go. I come in peace.
I'm hungry.
Jericho tells this amazing story where he had an angle he wanted to pitch with Vince, and he kept asking all his stooges. He's like, yo, is Vince eaten today yet? And they're like, I don't know. Well, they kept telling him yes. He's like, has Vince eaten yet? And they're like, yes. He went to like 3 different guys. He walks in the door. There's Vince sitting there with a steak at the desk, and he's eating. And Jericho pitches this like amazing thing. It's dead in the water immediately, and Vince just looks up at him and goes, bad cow. And Jericho's like, what? He's like, this steak is tough. So like the whole time he was eating, he never even heard the
relevant
pitch.
to what he's actually the food in front of him.
So that one's really interesting to listen to. Is like it starts getting more and more into like the nuts and bolts of how like insane the WWE really is in the background.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
like
it's that Vince McMahon thing of, you know, I'm such a billionaire and this is what I'm doing, and if you don't like it, then tough. And he can do it because there's a billion other people that are waiting to take their place, you know. So it's one of those things.
This is a really weird time, man, because like, I don't know, like I said, with Mania happening, luckily AEW, they pulled Blood and Guts, right? That's done. They're not doing it.
Okay. I don't know if it's permanently. I know that they. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know Dana White's trying to do a UFC event. Nobody wants anything to do with that.
Like something on a boat or something?
Yeah.
He's on a boat?
Yeah.
Why don't they just ask Vince McMahon if they can use the Performance Center? Performance Center.
UFC at the Performance Center.
Well, Joe Rogan pulled out. He said he won't announce it because like he doesn't feel it's right, man. These guys are going to be out there like. What drops your immune system more than anything? Heavy training, and then these guys are going to beat the living hell out of each other and then try to heal, and their immune systems are going to be dropped to the floor. Like you're just risking everybody. It's just we're at a time where like we have to stop worrying about other people's entertainment and dollars coming in and just worrying about people's health.
Yes, and we must unite as a humanity, as a species.
You know, the whole thing is
hippie about it.
The whole thing is they won't care until they get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Until Dana or Vince gets it.
That's the higher ups everywhere. Every company everywhere. No, everybody doesn't understand why we're stopping production and sending workers home and stuff like that because they're sitting up in an office and they're fine. It's an eat the rich type of time. I think it's going to come down to a point where it's mob mentality and where I'll just start attacking like mansions.
I think it's
forks and torches everywhere. What were we saying?
There's like a Linkin Park album, and it's a Linkin Park song. I know there's a System of a Down song where they're like, "Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor?"
Yeah,
thinking that. But then there's like a Linkin Park verse that says like, "When the rich wage war, it's the poor that die." So it's the same sort of thing. It's like you can't relate to it because it doesn't affect you in any way.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think WWE, UFC, at least AEW is taking it seriously because the guys running it, besides Tony Khan, are all workers and they're in the business, so they understand. But like, until it affects Vince, until Stephanie or Hunter or somebody gets this, like, I don't think the reality is really hitting the upper management yet. So they just keep marching their soldiers out to the ring and they have matches. Like, Andrade's hurt now, so he ain't wrestling. So now they're bringing Austin Theory up. So it's going to be Angel Garza and Austin Theory versus
real hodgepodge.
Yeah, that's a rumor.
I'm saying this ain't Mania. If you want to do like a mini event to keep people entertained, be like this March we're going to have like a 2-hour event to entertain you guys, but don't call it Mania.
Yeah, they can't even fit the WrestleMania sign in the building.
That's what I'm curious, man. What are they going to do with like the big entrances and stuff like that? This is Mania.
Exactly.
About like, all right, well, we need Triple H to get out there on a motorcycle again. You know, what are they going to do?
Wow,
we're all breathing in the fumes of the motorcycle.
I know you're going to drop $20,000 worth of pyrotechnics in the
performance center. You know, they're thinking about something. I mean, like the graveyard match thing is going to be, you know, that's got to be something big. Something big is going to happen there because they're talking about the Boneyard match being just like basically a bury alive match without a ring. So they're going to be. That's where you're going to get in the special effects and stuff like that. I feel either that or the
final deletion.
The final deletion,
exactly. Yeah,
it'll be like that with a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. So we're going to forego all the entrances and stuff for that.
Matt Hardy was so ahead of his time with those segments. He knew this Corona was coming.
He knew it. He predicted it. That's that.
Hey man, he did 3 million hits for that final deletion he did with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
That was good. Bray Wyatt segment.
Right now.
What's that?
Ratings are down, man. Nothing's getting 3 million hits right now. Nobody wants to see the empty crowd stuff.
I stopped. I basically put it on the background and do other stuff, and then I'll come in when someone's doing it like a shoot or something like that. Because at least I don't need a crowd reaction for someone to like do a promo. Mm-hmm. But like, it's just a weird vibe when these guys are yelling and knocking each other all over the ring and there's no sound. Like there's no one responding.
It's just different. Like that. It's not what we're used to. It's like if something happened where they took away the ring. You know, it's like, oh, you guys are just going to wrestle on the floor now. It'd be weird. It'd be weird and different, and I don't know if that'd be better or worse. You know, it depends on what you're talking about. Yeah, and it's what we got for right now. It sucks, but we have to. It's either that or stop watching wrestling, which a lot of people are stopping watching wrestling.
I mean, there's so much backlog of stuff that's already happened. You can just stop watching wrestling for now. Like, so much stuff has happened.
Go back and watch the other stuff? Is that what you're saying? On the network?
Yeah.
You absolutely could.
Like, they have enough documentaries and movies they can continue to make way more of them and keep people entertained that way.
Well, they had that Stooge podcast with Corey Graves where it's all set for the show for WWE. They interview him in that mode and everything. Why didn't they just put that on and have him interview wrestlers and do that? I'd rather them just sit down a wrestler and get to know the wrestler while we're waiting for everything to go on. And they can do it this way too, and we can watch them. I'd rather watch that than watch a bunch of people go out in the ring and kill themselves for no one watching it. But like a few people at home, they're like me. I'm wiping my freaking countertops down while it's happening because I'm not even watching it.
Do you remember the WWE backstage they did where CM Punk returned, and they're like, "Oh, this is going to be huge," and then the music played. And of course, there's no reaction because there's no crowd there. Like that, it feels like that for everything. Like, how are they gonna have any surprises or anything? Like, I saw one of the rumor things for WrestleMania. It said something about CM Punk, and I was like, absolutely not gonna happen. Like, well, they've already seen it doesn't matter at all.
Well, now McMahon's going out there just screaming that he'll never work with him, which that's weird. Cause I thought for the longest time him and McMahon had like a decent respect when he left. I thought it was the whole Triple H thing. But now they're saying McMahon said he'll never work there again, which is weird.
That's a weird time.
He's an egomaniac.
That too. But you know what? There's surprises happening all over the place, like with Hardy showing up and with Lance Archer debuting, and you know, so it's not just WWE that this is happening. It's AEW.
Oh, yeah. Dude, they revealed the Dark Order, the High Lord or whatever, and Brody Lee walks out. It should have been his biggest moment. It was in his hometown, and there's no crowd. So
the Exalted One.
Exalted One, that's it. Whatever. Exalted.
Whatever. Speaking of people being out, I heard Bobby Lashley's under quarantine now as well. He was supposed to have that match with Aleister Black at WrestleMania Most likely not happening now. He was supposed to be there the last 2 weeks, but he got held up. He was in South Africa, I believe, doing a tour. So when he got back, they're like, yeah, you're in quarantine. Good luck with that. You're staying where you are. So most likely he's going to miss Mania. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
the world's canceled.
Yeah, what's sad is we have nothing to talk about but to make fun of what's going on because how insane this is. It's just like,
we have plenty of stuff to talk about. We have plenty of stuff to talk about. This is just one story.
I'm just saying that's how crazy the story is that we're still talking about because it's just like we need to shoehorn WrestleMania in there. We have to have it because these people need to see it. And it's like all of us are like, no, don't do this. We rather wait. And they're like, no, you need WrestleMania now. It's like, no, I'd rather wait. And
it's going to damage the brand that is WrestleMania to have it on that such a low of a scale.
I don't think it'll damage the brand, but I don't think when WWE ends this and Vince's ego keeps going, like, yo, it's WrestleMania, like everybody wants to see this, and they see the ratings are garbage, and they see that like all the matches fell flat because it's like Aleister Black's going to walk out to the ring and wrestle someone that's not Bobby Lashley. And it's it's another Raw with no fans. It's another SmackDown with no fans.
Gronkowski's going to host it though, so there's that.
He's going to do that dance. He's going to do that weird dance he was doing.
Whole dance on the.
Oh God, this is hysterical. Like how bad this is, and they just keep chugging along. We're like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it no matter what. And it's just like everybody's just sick. Supposedly. They videoed most of it already.
Yeah, a lot of it's pre-taped already.
It feels like a parody.
I'm hearing that they did multiple endings for a lot of the stuff too, just so no spoilers get out because they're pre-taping everything. So they got multiple endings for WrestleMania this year, guys. There's going to be a DVD with the bonus features disc and with a blooper reel and everything.
Well, maybe they should do that like Bandersnatch. Like Black Mirror Bandersnatch, where you can pick, you can choose.
You can choose your own WrestleMania.
Choose your own ending. Yeah.
That'd be a real interactive experience.
Yeah, and every time you watch WrestleMania, you get a different ending by like how you do the moves through the match.
But then, how do they continue storylines afterwards? Like after WrestleMania ends?
It's a choose your own adventure, so you just get to keep on choosing. Just pre-tape from now on.
And then what do you do after Mania? Because usually the Monday after Mania is usually this big event where wrestlers start showing up from NXT or people cross brands.
Surprise entrances.
Yeah,
surprise.
Are you going to really do that on that Monday when barely anybody's watching and cares?
They're doing it now. They're doing it now. They're debuting a whole bunch of people and. You know, they're putting people out there to squash other people and all this other stuff. So we're getting Austin Theory at WrestleMania, apparently. You know, so people are just knocking them out of the park anyway. So they're going to keep on going no matter what because they never stop. Wrestling never stops, ever. Doesn't matter what happens.
You know what? It needs to stop. It needs to stop. Let us all take a break. Let us actually miss it.
Right.
Instead of forcing down our throats when like we know everybody's sick and all I'm doing is watching this like, and every day it's like, all right, well, who else is going to disappear after this week? Like who else is going to get sick or go home or, let us miss it. Like figure like something else out. Like you have this amazing group of guys can put packages together, video packages. I don't know if you guys remember this is years ago. Sunday Night Heat for a while stopped doing matches. They weren't even doing matches anymore. And they would do an hour show where they would push storylines, but they would put music to it. So they would push like whatever Shane McMahon was warring with Kurt Angle at the time. They would put this whole video package of their entire feud to some like indie band. They would play it in the background and do like a 10, 15 minute like video package to like music and just get you like amped up to finally see it and just do stuff like that. And until like it's finally ready to actually be seen live again. I don't know, man. It's just weird.
I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like nobody's really.
And what other storylines are
nobody's doing what's that? What'd you
What
say?
other storylines are I'm forgetting about besides that?
Well, there's other things going on. Little things like the Jon Moxley showing up on WWE backstage. That was something. Did you guys see that?
What?
No.
It was because everybody's doing like what we're doing now with Zoom, so they're recording backstage with this as well. And since it's hosted by Renee Young, you saw Jon Moxley pop up because their dog was barking in the background. Moxley runs in with the dog, just goes up to the camera and goes, "Got him, we're good," and then walks off.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Booker T and Xavier Woods are sitting there going like, "Okay,
I have
like, what do we do?"
I have to see this now. I have to find this.
It's funny. It's really funny. Booker T's like, cameo.
So
that
so how many weeks till Renee Young's fired?
I told you to do it from home, damn it! But come on, keep your husband out of here. It's amazing how many people are like with both companies, like how they're there's somebody dating or somebody married and somebody, you know, one's in WWE, one's in AEW, like not Gargano, what's it, Adam Cole and
Britt Baker.
Yeah, there's like a couple of those, right?
Well, you got what? Deonna Purrazzo, is she still with Marty Scurll?
Yeah, I think so.
And he's like running NWA Power and still wrestling in ROH and doing whatever he wants to do.
That's something I'm surprised that Vince McMahon let them get away with. Like, oh, Moxley wants to leave WWE. Well, guess what, Renee, you're going with him. You know, I could see him pulling some crap like that.
From what I hear, she's so beloved that she was almost untouchable. They even do that.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She does a great job.
Yeah. All right, we're getting to about that point. We got to take a break because Zoom's going to kick us off pretty soon.
Did you make commercials for her breaks or?
No, I wanted to. I thought about that yesterday. I was like, I should get in touch with like Niles Young and other people that have podcasts. Just get them to do commercials for us.
Great idea.
But we haven't done that yet. So right now we're just going to take a break. And with you guys watching at home, this is going to be about a second. But for us, it's going to be like 5 minutes.
It's going to give these guys a chance to go out and really dive into the Shakespeare. I mean, you know, they're running. Cameo. That's what this show's all about.
TV, baby.
Recording from home, babe.
And we're back. Everyone had a nice peek.
Welcome back, everybody.
Did you get to see that, Corey? I just watched it.
Are
you taking a pee?
The back.
John Moxley popping up on backstage.
No, I didn't see it.
I watched.
You just watched me taking a pee.
Wonderful.
Xavier Rhodes' response is the best part. He's injured, can't wrestle. He's just like, yeah.
It's funny. You should check it out. It's only about a minute-long clip, so
yeah, it's not even.
Yeah.
But he just yells, "Got him!" and puts the dog in the camera, and you see his face.
We're good. We're all set.
I wonder how much backlash that will end up in the since he's like a rival organization's world champion.
It'd be awesome if he had the belt.
Have the title on him.
Yeah. It's like, I got the dog. I got this belt too. Cool, guys. See ya.
Renee should just come on next week with the AEW championship just like over her shoulder, just talking the whole time. Not even caring.
No. What are you going to do? Fire me, Vince? Go for it. I dare you. So we were just talking off air a little bit. There's an indie wrestler, if you can call him an indie wrestler, Teddy Hart, who just got arrested. And it's not for what you think. Mark was immediately like, oh, gee, I wonder why. But no, he was charged with assault. Maria Manick, apparently, is his girlfriend. Corey, you know Maria Manick, don't you? Yeah. Yes, apparently, Teddy choked her out. Just started strangling her and kind of injured her a little bit. She had a friend over. Let me see if I can get his name. Ace Montana, another indie wrestler. And he ended up calling the cops. He had to pull a gun on Teddy Hart to get him away, to get him out of the off the property, and basically saved Maria Manick's life. So they got Teddy Hart.
The Chronicles of Florida.
Yeah, right. Florida man. Yeah, he's probably going to jail for like 5 years.
Is that where he is? He lives in Florida?
I think it's Florida now, right?
Yeah.
It's just a shame. It's another black guy on wrestling, and Teddy Hart's got issues, man. He's got issues. Like we were joking, well, not joking, but we were talking about it right before we came back on. Like when Matt was on the show, he was a big proponent of bringing the new Hart Foundation to WWE,
right?
And he's like,
why.
You think he'll bring Teddy too? And I was like, no. And I always thought it was because of his drug issues. You know, now we know, like, he's all around. Yeah,
he's just problematic all the way.
Big time.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame, but what are you gonna do? Like, he's got issues, and that guy needs to be put in jail, and hopefully someone can rehabilitate this guy because he's a mess.
Definitely. So hopefully that'll be taken care of, and hopefully Maria Maddox's all right. Another story that I wanted to bring up was Chris Jericho. This guy is all over the place. He had a Q&A type of thing last night. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was like a Jericho Saturday night. It was on Facebook Live. It was pretty cool, man.
Was he just drinking a bottle of vodka and cursing out his fans all the time? Or?
Pretty much. Yeah. It was really good. You can see the whole thing on YouTube if you want to. It's about an hour and a half long. Just sat down, just started playing like Fozzy and like, you know, Metallica and Black Sabbath and all this other stuff in the background where he's just answering a bunch of questions. It's really cool. It wasn't really anything groundbreaking like, oh, now we know this about him. But it was, you know, just stuff about his band, stuff about his leaving WWE, and all stuff he's already talked about before.
You had me a little teary-eyed on the Benoit documentary once you found out that, like, he was the one who got woman's sister and David Benoit back together, and because they hadn't talked in 13 years, and it was like it was rough to watch that end, man. Yeah. That and watching David finally break down, and Chavo comes out of the background, it's like consoling him. That was rough.
This is why we're here.
But it was really cool to see the other side of Jericho, which I've always heard, like, he's a really solid dude. It was really cool to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also on YouTube if you want to check that out.
Put some kind of positive spin on what happened. At least there was one positive that came out of it in the end. Yeah. And I am totally behind him and David Benoit, where women should be in the Hall of Fame. I think, dude, her impact on the wrestling business in the 80s and early 90s. For like to be the valet, non-valet, she was sexy and all that, but she was like she actually did stuff in the ring instead of just parading around and looking pretty. She was a very good female manager when they really didn't have a lot of those around. And
yeah, that's true. I don't think she's going to go in the Hall of Fame for the same reason that Benoit's not going in the Hall of Fame. It just brings up all those memories.
Name association.
Yeah, but it's not right in the end.
No, it's not. I honestly believe that Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame as well. It's like, I get why, but I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to discard this guy's whole career because of what happened at the end. Like, that's crazy.
Jim Ross says it when he says if Chris Benoit could see them put, like, he wouldn't. If Chris Benoit was here now knowing that he was the person who did that, he would say, don't do that. Don't put me in the Hall of Fame.
Sure. But I mean, you don't have to make a spectacle out of it. You don't have to, like, bring his family up on stage or anything like that. But they've done plenty of things before where they're just like, whether it's like the Legacy Wing or something like that. Where
I don't even know if I don't even know if they could do that because, like, we don't really do it, but, like, Wrestling Observer would, What Culture, all those guys, they would do video after video about how much WWE is a bunch of scumbags for putting them in the wing. And then it
seems pretty hypocritical. It really does.
But when it comes to women, like, she deserves to be in there. And the weird thing, too, is we're talking about Chris Benoit going to the Hall of Fame, and Owen Hart's still not there.
Right. Well, that's more about his wife.
His wife doesn't want it for whatever reason. I got to read her book or something. Wasn't she supposed to come out with, like, a big interview or something like that on everything.
Oh, besides that, we're talking about. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay, bye.
Right back.
Started a sentence and then he walked away.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I wanted to talk about.
Hang on a second. I just want to mention something.
If you guys,
What is
if you
this?
guys did watch CD2, this is Matthew Randazzo's book that he was talking about, where he documents Chris Benoit's mental health, even possibly as a child and younger, going through the dojo system, into what he had to do just to be a wrestler, from the drugs to everything, to the last few days of Chris being alive. This is actually a really good and creepy book. I bought this years ago. It's been sitting on my shelf forever.
Same title for the people listening and aren't watching the video.
Ring of Hell by Matthew Randazzo.
Definitely pick that up.
Really good. I thought it was a really good book. It's a quick read. It's not like, I think if I remember, he has a letter. It's a pretty quick read though. I think it's only like 340 pages or something like that. I would check it out if you're interested in that whole entire story, or the story of him at all. I don't know. I don't want to glorify what he did. I just thought the documentary was amazing. I thought they did a great job. And New Jack is this week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this next round of Dark Side of the Ring. Doc series is amazing. I love it. I heard they're going to do one about Dino Bravo, who shot like 17 times.
Oh yeah, he was killed by the mob.
The mob, yeah.
In Canadian mob.
In his house.
Yipes.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I would prefer the wrestlers to be home, and I'd rather watch stuff like this right now.
Right.
Like I said, I'd rather watch the ruthless aggression thing. They're doing one now on, I guess, like, is it FCW, or they're doing another one on?
I watched the first FCW one.
I haven't watched it, but I heard they're doing that. I've been watching Dark Side of the Ring. I finally watched the one on Miss Elizabeth a couple days ago. I watched the Montreal Screwjob one, but I know so much about that. It's like not worth watching.
It's like, why even bother? Not too much else going on news-wise. R-Truth got the 24/7 title back, which was kind of interesting. Again. Riddick Moss is running down the street and jogging like you, with the 24/7 belt around his waist like you do. And then referee he's just jogging along and the belt is bouncing on his waist. Referee pulls up in the car and he's like, no, I know we're here. Get out of here. Who did you bring with you? And then R-Truth pops out of a trunk and does the roll up. And it's like, go back to football, Randy Moss, and then runs away. Which I thought was really funny.
That's what it was. Like, go back to the NFL, Randy Moss. I could not remember the line. And I would crack up. But he's
like, drove you. So that was funny. There was a couple funny things. That's pretty much the only reason I'm still watching wrestling right now, is just to laugh at stuff like that.
Like I said, I put it on the background. When Bray Wyatt came on Friday, I sat down and watched his promo, which I thought he did a really good job again.
Yeah.
We'll see what the Firefly Funhouse match is.
I don't have high hopes for that one.
I hope it looks like Pee-wee's Playhouse and they beat each other up in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
That'd be
Chairry? Awesome. The steel Chairry?
Yeah. A steel Chairry. That's awesome.
John Cena feeding his head in the Chairry's mouth.
Licka high, licka hiney ho.
Yeah. The Gargano and Ciampa thing with Triple H was really good, I thought, on NXT this week.
Yeah,
is that supposed to be on WrestleMania? Ciampa and Gargano?
No. 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Well, I'd rather see that on WrestleMania than Dana Brooke versus anybody.
Well, Dana Brooke's at home.
Like,
you don't have to worry about Dana Brooke.
I'm saying, I'm not saying specifically her, but I'm saying they're just pigeonholing people into matches for WrestleMania because nobody else can do it. Why not put Gargano and Ciampa on WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe at the time they already said, we have 16 matches. We don't need any more. We'll save that for the takeover. Maybe they're planning a takeover type of thing at the Performance Center.
I don't know. I thought when he said, like, you guys, like, he did this, and Triple H was talking about, like this place can't contain you and all that. I thought they were going to be like, all right, well, you're going to wrestle on WrestleMania. I was like, oh, now I have a match I'm super interested in seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and he's like, how much time you need? And Johnny Gargano's like 2 weeks. I was like, boo. It's just like, just took all the steam out of it. It's like, oh, this sucks. Like, I'd rather see them wrestle next week.
He made a good point. He was like, you want me to wrestle next week? I just got thrown off a balcony through a table. Are you nuts? So he's like, how long is it? He's like, 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. I thought it was good. It made like that. That's the most real thing that I've promo that I've seen in a while. Well, besides Edge and Norton.
And then they had like 2 really big guys with like weird painting on their foreheads, beat up Matt Riddle.
What was that about?
I don't know. The dude came out and he's like, you know me. I was like, I don't know you. Like, I've never seen you in my life.
Yeah.
And he's like doing this whole speech.
Bringing in a new tag team, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Io Shirai came back. This is what I'm talking about, man. They're making debuts and returns all over the place with no crowd. So everybody's doing everything. But it was cool to see Io Shirai. I thought that was a good match with Xylee.
Yeah, and then they jobbed Asuka out to what's her name?
Alexa Bliss. Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about that. That's Asuka used to be so cool and so untouchable and unbeatable, and now she's in the 50-50 booking with everybody else. It's crazy. I don't know why. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't like that at all.
I guess to make it seem like Nikki Cross and Alexa were strong enough to beat them at Mania. And I really don't think any titles are going to change at Mania. I don't see anything really changing. I mean, like you said, maybe Brock beats. Braun beats Goldberg, which would be weird. I don't see Brock losing. Well, not Brock. Does Brock have a title now? No, Brock's he does have a title.
Brock's got the title. He's going to get Drew McIntyre.
This is how much I've been watching now that there's empty rings.
I'm looking forward to that match, actually.
That's the I think most anticipated match in my book.
Yeah,
I'm still Edge Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton could be great.
Yeah, and I'm still looking forward to Baszler and Lynch. I still want to see that. I don't know. There's matches on there I would like to see. I still want to see Otis and Ziggler. I don't care. I'm looking forward to it. I love Otis to death. I'll watch that guy do anything. I don't care. Have a match where like who can make a sandwich the fastest? I'd watch it.
What are you gonna do? Mandy on a pole match? How are they doing?
Why not? No, their match.
Well, I'd pay to see that.
What was it? The Judy Bagwell on a forklift match? Like you just put her on a pallet. You just put her on a pallet and lift a forklift, and she's just gonna stand there while they wrestle.
AEW is not much different. They're doing the same empty arena stuff like that. What did you guys think of the whole Matt Hardy promo that he did with Jericho?
I liked it, but I thought it was awkward at the same time.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of it's almost like it's almost a waste of Matt Hardy to throw him into a group thing, a group versus a group. Like it feels like it's got to be bigger for him, but to debut him in such a way where it's not as predictable. Like everyone thought he was going to be the exalted one, and so it's all wait and see sort of stuff.
I thought
now, especially with their pay-per-view being postponed as well.
Yeah. I thought all the teleportation stuff was a little weird. Like I understand that it's supposed to be kind of. You missed it. It was basically a bunch of jump cuts from him going around from seat to seat. But the problem was they filmed Jericho at the same time. So Jericho was kind of like trying to stay still. Like, you know how when they jump like that, but you can just see like a little, like,
I did not pick, that was another one I was like watching half in, half out. Cause like I said, the no crowd thing's really getting to me. And that may be me. Maybe some people, you guys might enjoy it. This is just my opinion. I don't like the no crowd thing. But But yeah, I didn't even pick up on that. I just remember Chris like trying to talk to him, and he was just all over the. I thought it was well done.
Dude, Mark, Rick was watching it with an editor's eye, and you and I don't have as sharp of an editor's eye.
They have millions of dollars, and I would like to see something done where I couldn't do a better job with my little rinky-dink setup. You know what I'm saying? Just like, just try. Buy After Effects. It's like $100. You know, something. I don't know. That's just my. I do like the whole Matt Hardy thing. I think it's gonna do well. Even with the, well, we're not sure if he's with the Elite technically. We just know he's against the Inner Circle.
He's with the Delete.
The Delete.
Delete
my microphone out of the way. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on at AEW. I dug the Jake Roberts promo. Looked dark and creepy as hell. I thought that was really cool.
You gotta understand too. What was that, Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
I was easily into probably half a fifth of Evan Williams by then. Eating my cake by myself.
Well, did you see the Brody Lee, whatever it's called, backstage segment with who was trying to be Vince McMahon?
I've been trying to find that everywhere, and I can't find it.
It's on YouTube. You can just keep on looking. But he basically
said everywhere, though.
Well, look, YouTube. It's there. Because that's where I saw it. Unless they took it off by now. I don't know. Go to AEW's channel on YouTube. It's probably on there.
I heard like WWE's like furious about this. Like,
yeah, well, they did a bunch of like Vince McMahon like personal stuff about it. Like we were talking about earlier with the steak and how you can't talk to him while he's eating. And they took it to another level. It's like, oh, you can't start eating until I'm done eating. But it was Brody Lee. And I'm like, he just debuted and they're already putting him in the role of like a goofy Vince McMahon character.
I thought they were doing the whole like Steve Austin ECW back in the day when he.
That's kind of what they're doing, but that shouldn't be Brody Lee's character. He's the exalted one, and they're just parodying Vince McMahon. Like they're using the exalted one as a way to take pot shots at WWE. Like that's kind of crappy.
Not only that, Brody never talks, so you don't really know his skill level. And then Steve Austin, circa what was that 95, 96 when he was doing that?
Yeah.
4 or 5.
With the suit and the black wig. That when they were like all of a sudden he's doing the whole entire Hulk Hogan promo out of nowhere in the corner, and he was killing it, man.
Yeah.
But that was a different character. Like he was basically showing what Stone Cold Steve Austin would be 2 years from there.
Yeah.
And Brody Lee, I don't think he has the personality to really do a goofy character like that.
No.
I think he can do a dark character. I think he can do it well. We'll see.
See what happens. Hopefully that doesn't like. I'm just tired of all the pot shots at WWE. Like
they were
WWE doesn't really do that many towards AEW, and it like takes me out of it, man. It's like I just want to see them become a good company, and I'm trying hard to like them because everybody else likes them, and I have a wrestling podcast, and I'd like to talk about them. You know, so I'd like to actually be entertained while I'm reviewing your product. So I'm just not a AEW curmudgeon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I enjoy AEW. The problem is, like I said, I don't have cable right now, so
yeah.
I have to watch Raw and SmackDown on Twitch. So I guess I'll start looking to see if AEW's on Twitch, and then the network. I can't even watch NXT till midnight or 11 o'clock at night or whatever it is the next day.
Yeah.
After it's aired, so I don't get to catch AEW like that. I think it's a good product. I think it's a good show. I think they pay off their fans for waiting. They do long-term storytelling, and it works. And they show that WWE's wrong, where they think everybody's got severe ADD, and they have to jump from storyline to storyline every 3 weeks.
Yeah,
like it's basically pay-per-view to pay-per-view. New story, we got a pay-per-view coming up. New story, instead of like stretching it over time,
or stretching it.
I mean, why you stretch it a quarter? You can stretch a storyline a quarter and go from major pay-per-view to major pay-per-view. You don't have to do
I mean, sometimes you just stretch it too much with, they'll have the same two guys wrestle on Monday Night Raw 6 weeks in a row, and then the pay-per-view comes around and it's like, oh, they're fighting again. Wonderful.
Well, they did. That's the weird thing is they'll do the Usos versus the New Day for 2.5 years straight. And then they'll close out another storyline in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. It's that instant gratification they think everybody in the world wants and needs. And it's really like you can hold it off a little bit more than you're doing. Like what Matt said, like Edge and Orton shouldn't have touched yet at all.
And they haven't.
No, they did RKO. Edge did RKO to Orton.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was just to build the storyline more. And then if you notice, they haven't touched each other since.
Yeah.
Like Edge ran into the ring and Orton ran out, and then he did his promo and then ran after him, which everybody's like, I like how he ran after him because that was realistic. He still had to do a promo first and then run after him.
Real realistic. All right, well, I'd say it's about that time, folks. I think we got to start breaking down, and we got to talk about one guy that did better than everybody else this week. One guy, one girl, one company, whatever we want to talk about. We do it with a segment called Who Wins Wrestling? Who Wins Wrestling? Blah, 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 blah. It's nice to actually hear that while we're recording the podcast again.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you got this week? Did you not think of one?
I'm actually gonna go with Chris Jericho. I thought the do the promo they did with Matt Hardy, like he still shows why he's one of the best. And the other thing is, I think that whole to see the second half of Dark Side of the whole Chris Benoit story, showing him trying to get them back together and showing like this other side of him. That he's an absolutely like a really good person.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good to see. I'm gonna go with Chris, man. He's like I said, since he stepped in AEW, he's been killing it. Everything he's doing, and the last 2 weeks he did the Matt Hardy show, which was great, and the Brody Lee one is actually very good. He's killing it right now.
Yeah, actually, I have to throw my head in there too. Yeah, I'm picking Chris Jericho as well. Only because
I was going to say.
You were doing Chris Jericho as well?
I was.
There you go. That's unanimous then, man. Chris Jericho wins wrestling this week. But I got to throw in the his promo that he did with Vanguard 1, trying to get Vanguard 1 to join the Inner Circle. That was hilarious. Don't you fly away from me. You fly back here. That was great. There's a clip on his Twitter or his, I don't know. I forget where I saw it, but he was cutting a promo on his Roomba. Like his Roomba keeps on walking away from me. It just lies around and, just does work when it wants to. Like he was just cutting a promo on a Roomba. It was hilarious. And then he did the Saturday Night Special thing last night, and that was fantastic. That was really cool. And the promo with Matt Hardy was good. He's killing it. He's all over the place.
Corey,
you agree?
Yeah, dude, I was gonna say Jericho, and then Mark said it, and then I was like, shoot, what should I say now? And then I was gonna say, Vice, because of them putting out both parts of that Benoit thing, and then I'm like, Mark said that, so I'm just gonna say with saying Jericho, yes.
Yeah.
I just think there's value in these older wrestlers where WWE doesn't see it, and the value is. Jericho is using other platforms to still entertain people while they can't really wrestle. And it just shows if you're good and you know what you're doing, you can entertain people on other levels. And he's killing it. And then, like I said, then on the documentary, it showed like he has this whole other side to him. He's an absolute sweetheart. Like, and he cares, and it was really well done.
Applause for Chris Jericho, everybody.
If you can find it, because I don't know how many are left on the internet. Check it out.
Ring of Hell. All right, man. I think we covered everything this week. I thought this was a pretty good episode. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's get our plugs out. Mark, are you doing anything yet? Anything going on?
I got super drunk on Wednesday for my birthday. That's pretty much what I'm doing.
Happy birthday, Mark! And we all left the show on Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, I meant to mention Mark's birthday, and I forgot.
Now I'm gonna hit up Sozio. Sozio's wanted me on the show, so I got to see when he needs me and wants me to be on there. Hopefully, I won't be on pre-workout and talk too much like I am now. I got to stop working out before I do the show. I got to work out after.
All right. So, yeah, struggling with Sozio, man. You might be on there. That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
He said he wanted me on. I'll talk on anybody's show. I don't give a shit. That's what I do for a living. Now I'm not bartending and selling people booze. Like, I have no one to talk to.
Nice. Cory, what do you got, man?
I really wanted to say, what was WrestleMania 6 days away from now? Like, it's pretty coming up close. So, if you want us to do some sort of like simulcast or something, just hit us up with anything you want us to do. Like I always say, if you listen to this show, if you watch the video that's up on Rick's YouTube channel every week, let us know you exist. Interact with us. We're not gonna be too cool and big time you. We're gonna interact with you.
Yeah, we're definitely talking to everybody. I always try and make anybody that comments on any of the videos on my YouTube channel, I always make sure to comment back, say hi, say thank you for watching, all that other stuff. And if you want to talk about something, I'm down for that as well. And I am looking into some way to do it like a simulcast, something like this, but live and on YouTube for WrestleMania. I don't know if it's possible or not. I'm sure it is, but I don't know if I have capabilities of doing it. So I
have to convince my dad to not watch WrestleMania and use my account. What do you mean I can't watch WrestleMania?
All right, still got about 10 minutes left. Cory, you got anything else?
Yeah, I mean,
you got 10 minutes left.
Go ahead, please subscribe to my podcast called Evolving with Cory Castle. I've got, even though everything's canceled and everybody's at home, I've got podcasts in the bag coming out for the next 6 weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited about the world hearing some of that. Some really cool conversations. I recently had on the director of my favorite comedy documentary. So his name's Jordan Brady. That episode won't come out till May, but I'm excited about the world hearing it. If you guys like what we do and like our show, you might like my show too. But make sure you shoot us a subscription. Subscribe to Rick's YouTube channel so you can watch us every week.
Stop doing my plugs.
Well, that's where they're watching us. So that's why I'm saying it.
My plugs are your plugs too.
So, subscribe to this podcast if this is your first time hearing us. Sorry that we didn't have a whole lot to talk about.
It's just not.
So much.
I know we did.
Talked about a lot. I thought we did a good episode.
We really circled the drain on the quarantine thing, but I mean everything is, and there's there's like no way to avoid it.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to do that.
Yeah, we'll have plenty to talk about when it comes to Mania, because it's gonna be a make fun fest. We should see Match come on for Mania.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Well, watch
if we can do it like this, we can invite like 100 people. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Give it all kinds of crap.
Yeah, I guess we can. We can just do our little squares here, and everybody can watch us watching WrestleMania.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
All right.
tinyurl.com/YouTube Rick Connor. That's my yes, Cory.
Check out the Tiger King on Netflix.
Why? Why? What does that have to do with us or wrestling?
Well, Undertaker did a promo where he was sitting with the tiger, and they put it on so Raw or SmackDown, whatever, AJ Styles. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So the tiger rescue that's connected with that is connected in this documentary series that's on Netflix. It's called The Tiger King. Check it out. It's funny. And Barry on HBO. Make sure you check that out.
I knew that was coming.
So, tinyurl.com/YouTube Rick Connor. That's my YouTube channel. That's CONNOR. Make sure you spell it in the correct way. And you can see a whole bunch of Dynamite Championship Wrestling, World Professional Wrestling. Just started uploading American Championship Pro Wrestling if you're interested in that as well, from all the way back in 2007. Whoa. So that's super cool. And you can also check out every episode of Rassle Rock on the YouTube channel. If you're not, check it out on iTunes if you want to carry it around and just listen to it. Also, check out my other podcast to do with Mark's sister, Karen. It's called It's Something to Do. It's a pop culture podcast. Right now we're covering the show Reaper from back in, when was that? 2010 or something like that.
5, 10,
that
6.
was on 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, one of those.
First
one of those
season.
years. What's that?
The first season of that show rules.
Oh, I love that show. Yeah. So we're covering that episode by episode, and check out our past episodes as well, because we're covering a lot of stuff.
Oh, Rick, I also wanted to mention that I
mention
watched Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were going to plug my other stuff. Go ahead.
No, I watched Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Mm-hmm.
So we can cover that. Yeah, we can cover that on your podcast if you want to have me on as a guest again. I'm absolutely pleased to be here.
Sure. Yeah, we're eventually going to get to Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I didn't hear what you said. What was that?
I didn't hear it either.
I'm just saying.
Oh, he's gonna have way too much fun with these sounds.
I know, man. This is like when we first got the effects or the sound bite machine, whatever it's called. I just started hitting buttons.
iPad?
Right? Yeah, the iPad with all the sound effects on it. Having all kinds of stuff here. Oh man, I was gonna put something else on here. I can't figure out what it was, but oh well. Don't worry about it. I have an echo now. That's something. It's fun. All right, enough of that. It's like doing it. Get out of my head. All right, but anyway. All right, so that'll about do it for this episode of Rassle Rock. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to have fun here with my little sound effects machine by myself. That'll about do it. I'm Rick Connor. Somebody else?
I'm Corey Castle.
Mark Hallbacher.
Until next week, let's take it out like we always do with Mr. Nick Burke.
Love you guys. Have fun. Be safe.